Hey everyone, welcome back to Celebrew. Today, we're diving into the shocking step-by-step strategy Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds allegedly used to hijack the upcoming film adaptation of It Ends With Us. There's been plenty of gossip, but even more evidence is surfacing, including new text messages that reveal Blake's calculated moves and even a scheme to leak private conversations. Buckle up, a calculated entry. From the very start, Blake Lively came on board looking like just another hired actress. She accepted a surprisingly low salary of $3 million, well under her usual rate, in return for an executive producer credit. On paper, it seemed like she was humble and simply committed to the project. But in reality, this was her first strategic play: establish herself as a key figure behind the scenes. The budget trap. The production was financed by Justin Baldoni's own company, Wayfarer Studios, and co-distributed by Sony. With just a $25 million budget, Justin was already walking a tightrope. Blake waited until 50% of that budget was sunk into various production costs, costumes, sets, and more. Then, she demanded an entirely new wardrobe, forcing the film to blow through its allocated funds. Because Justin had so much personal money on the line, he had no choice but to yield. Blake knew it, and she used that leverage to gain more influence. Covert script changes. Next, Blake enlisted Ryan Reynolds, her dragon, as she jokingly calls him, to help rewrite scenes and dialogues. Ryan's success with Deadpool was built on his knack for comedic timing and script contributions. Now, he brought that skill set to It Ends With Us. Together, they reworked huge chunks of the film's script without the knowledge of the original screenwriter or Justin. When Justin was finally brought in, he found himself outnumbered. Ryan and even Taylor Swift, another close ally of Blake's, were there to pressure him. Ultimately, Justin felt cornered and let them proceed, seizing the strike opportunity. Then came the industry-wide writers and actors strikes. Production screeched to a halt. This downtime turned into a golden opportunity for Blake and Ryan. Blake used it to renegotiate her contract, rattling off a list of 17 non-negotiable demands for even more creative power. Justin couldn't afford to lose his lead actress, and with Sony relying on Blake's star power to market the film, he folded again. The strikes handed her the perfect moment to tighten her grip over every aspect of the project. Editing bay takeover. After filming wrapped, you'd think the director's vision would finally come to life in the editing room. Normally, directors get a protected editing period, meaning only the director and approved editors shape the film's final cut. But Blake secured unauthorized access and, in a series of moves reminiscent of Ryan's Deadpool editing approach, replaced key editors with her own hires, people who'd worked with Ryan before. She then extended her stay in the editing bay from 2 days to 10, carving out an entirely separate cut of the movie. Soon, there were two competing versions: Justin's cut and Blake's cut. Taylor Swift's influence. We can't overlook Taylor Swift's role. She pushed for the film's original composer to be fired, allegedly over personal differences, and replaced with someone connected to Ryan's Deadpool team. Swift's involvement also led to one of her songs being used in a pivotal scene. All of this further solidified Blake's control. Suddenly, Justin's vision was sidelined, and the production was more about fulfilling the demands of this powerful trio. Threatening promotion, boycotts. When it came time for test screenings, Justin's cut actually scored higher with audiences. But Blake wasn't going down without a fight. She threatened to skip all marketing if her version wasn't chosen, and to take the film's author, Colleen Hoover, along with her. Everyone knew that if the face of your movie refuses to promote it, your box office prospects can sink overnight. Again, this left Justin with no real choice. Producer credit grab. Why go through all this trouble? Because Blake wanted a Producers Guild of America, PGA, credit, a prestigious marker that can launch her into Ryan's league as a high-powered producer, commanding lucrative back-end deals. To qualify for the PGA mark, she had to develop the story, hire key personnel, and oversee post-production. Conveniently, she did all three. If she locks down that official credit, she's poised to replicate Ryan's Deadpool success for herself, building a film empire. On top of that, Blake and Ryan's endgame seems to be controlling the entire Colleen Hoover franchise. It Ends With Us is just the start. If they succeed here, they'll have a powerful launchpad to adapt Hoover's other novels, with each new film stacking their influence and profits. The latest text messages. Now, here's the new twist. Recently leaked text messages show Blake may have planned to leak certain private exchanges to gain sympathy and manipulate public opinion. There are messages hinting she knew how fans and the press would react if certain behind-the-scenes drama surfaced. This alleged tactic gave her extra leverage over Justin, making him appear uncooperative if he tried to resist. It's yet another piece of evidence that this takeover was choreographed from day one. But there's more. Justin Baldoni recently amended his lawsuit, adding a series of text messages to his official website. These texts directly contradict many of Blake's public statements about her involvement. In some of the messages, Blake can be seen telling a production assistant she was ready to do whatever it takes to reshape the film, while publicly claiming she was simply excited to bring the book to life. At one point, she even mentions her plan to use Ryan's rewrites, even though she had publicly insisted she wanted to remain faithful to the novel's original dialogue. What's striking is the contrast between her public persona, that of a supportive team player, and the private Blake revealed in these texts. She complains that Justin's vision was too small and confides she needs to protect her brand, indicating her moves might be less about artistic integrity and more about solidifying her personal and professional power. The messages also reference strategic leaks to the press, implying she was ready to spin any production conflict in her favor. Even more telling are the texts where Blake references her so-called dragons. Initially, she'd claimed Ryan and Taylor Swift were just helping her refine some creative elements for It Ends With Us. But the leaked conversation suggests she was counting on their star power from the beginning to push through her changes. Publicly, she framed them as generous collaborators. Privately, she made it clear she would use them to pressure Justin into compliance. All this casts serious doubt on Blake's repeated assertions that she was merely an actress invested in the source material. Instead, the amended lawsuit and these new text messages paint a picture of someone determined to steer the entire production. Script, budget, marketing, and all. If true, it underscores just how meticulously planned this alleged hijack might have been, with Blake positioning herself as both the face of the film and the hidden force controlling its every move. Blake and Ryan's plan to reshape It Ends With Us into their personal stepping stone is almost textbook. Start small, inflate your influence, and exploit vulnerable moments, like budget deficits or industry strikes, to grab power. Whether or not it all works out in the final film remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, Blake and Ryan are playing for keeps, and their moves, plus these newly revealed messages, only underscore the depth of their ambition. Thanks for watching Celebrew. If you found this deep dive fascinating, like and subscribe for more breakdowns of Hollywood's biggest power plays. Let me know in the comments, do you think Blake and Ryan went too far? Or is this just savvy business?